Hello, friends. Welcome to today's daily Dharma. These next, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, going to be talking about exploring the three characteristics, anicca, dukkha, anatta, or change. And one word I like for translation of dukkha, and we'll talk about a couple more, but one word I like is vulnerability because of change. And then anatta, not self. Yes, everything is changing and changing because of something called dependent co-arising, meaning things arise dependent on conditions being supportive of them to arise, and then they fall away when those conditions are no longer supportive. Those conditions are also arising due to other conditions and and so everything is just bouncing off of and playing off of each other in this vast web of interconnectivity, or you could say relationality. And because of that, we can't control it. It's just too vast, too many conditions to try to control. So because we can't control that, that means basically that, the end game of that is anything can happen at any time. That's the realm that we live in. And that anything can happen at any time is the aspect of dukkha that is vulnerability. We're vulnerable, right? We're vulnerable to that call at 3 a.m. that says, something bad has happened. We're vulnerable to these bodies getting sick, becoming diseased, getting hurt. We fall and break a limb, and of course, beyond all that, or even more fundamental than all of that, we are vulnerable to these bodies getting old, deteriorating, and passing away. Can't do anything about it. As soon as we're born, that we also get the rest of it. So that's this vulnerability is a very subtle and deep level of dukkha. Another level can be more like just the pains and the knocks of everyday life in the body and in the mind, right? Someone behaves a certain way to us and we feel bad, we feel hurt, or in the heart and mind, or we stub our toe, ouch, just these things that we run into every day. That's called dukkha. This is the knocks and the difficulties of the body and the mind. But then there's that deeper underlying layer of dukkha called viparinami dukkha, which I just talked about. It's like just the fact that anything could happen, that it happens and it's difficult and challenging, that's dukkha. But just the fact that it could happen, that's that second layer. We're vulnerable to the fact that it could. Then there's even a deeper layer of dukkha, which has to do with that we're sentient life, and that we're what's the word? We feel like we have these sense doors, right? We're impressionable. Things make impressions on us. Sounds make impressions on the ear. Sights make impressions on the eye, etc. The 6 sense doors, and we can't shut that off. That's just always happening, except for the 4 hours of dreamless sleep. That's when everything, even the sense doors, shut off completely. And which is why the being, that's where the deepest rest really happens at night, during those 4 hours of dreamless sleep. Because even when we're dreaming, like, the mind sense door is being contacted, the body's responding. There's still not totally deep rest, but the sense that we have these 6 sense doors, except for those 4 hours, constantly being touched, by the way, with anything at any time. Could be pleasant, could be unpleasant. We don't know. It's just going to keep coming. And just that is that third layer, the deepest level of dukkha, that we can't stop it. Even if we wanted to, it just keeps happening. It's very, what would be the word? It's hard when one feels that. I guess maybe overwhelming is a word. It's just all pervasive. So lots of ranges of dukkha. It's not just suffering. It's about change. It's about vulnerability. It's about unsatisfactoriness because things change. That it's going to be unsatisfactory to what? To the heart and mind's desire for happiness that doesn't end. Right? For just peace and happiness. That's what the heart and mind wants. But because of change, no thing can accommodate that. And that's also an aspect of dukkha. This shirt I have on right now, I really like it. It's one of my favorite ones. And, of course, because I like it, I wear it a lot. It's getting old and hopefully you can't see it, but there's starting to be little holes in it. And there we go. It's not going to make me happy forever. It's going to get old. It's going to be born, live, and die like everything else. So you can see the connectivity between change and dukkha. And like I said yesterday, that's because these 3 characteristics are just really lenses, 3 different lenses on one thing. So naturally, each of them will embody the other 2. So that's words. Those are some words. Let's do formal practice now and go to our direct experience and see if we might experience dukkha just right as it's happening. So settling into how you want to do the position you want to do the formal practice in. I like sitting, but of course lying down or standing. And we invite the body to soften and relax. And it's almost as if we I experience it like I'm relaxing my way into the somatic connection with the body. If I be present for this relaxation, this softening, my attention just naturally gets drawn to the body. Feeling the body sitting here. Probably one of the first things that one feels, or maybe one of the most obvious things, is the feeling the places where the body is in contact with the earth below, or what you're sitting on or standing on. And letting go into that support from below. And you might just even bring some attention to the body right now. How is it? places where it feels pleasant, places where it feels unpleasant, maybe places where it feels neutral in between. We can try to make the body as comfortable as possible as we move through our life, but in the end, we're going to experience times of unpleasantness associated with the body. And even if you're feeling that right now, you can just, frame that as an aspect of dukkha. Doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means this is a manifestation of the world that we live in. Now, what's great about the body is, it doesn't mean it's all bad or not bad, but all unpleasant, right? Lots of parts of your body now are probably neutral or even some pleasant. And yet, there are these places perhaps in your body. I know there are some in mind right now. It's unpleasant. To just, you know, getting used to using this lens to understand what's happening. Furthermore, the places in the body that might feel a little pleasant right now, because of change, they won't feel like that forever. They'll shift, become neutral, or maybe even become slightly unpleasant. That is also dukkha. It's not going to last. Doesn't mean not to enjoy it while it's present, some pleasantness. That's fine. Buddha said sense pleasures are to be enjoyed, and it will change. Let's go ahead and bring some attention to the breath now. Great place to study the three characteristics. Feeling the breath in the body, so not just thinking about it, having that direct, in the moment experience of it. Really letting the attention come close to the breath. So being very clear where you're feeling it in the body, what you're feeling with each in breath and each out breath. And notice how is the breath right now? Soft, settled, smooth, a little tight, a little agitated. How are the sensations of the breath themselves? Slightly pleasant, slightly unpleasant, somewhere in between. And as we were doing yesterday, really see if you can notice it, watch it, experience it as it changes. Maybe it changes in a way that we like and prefer. Maybe it changes in a way that we don't like so much or we don't prefer. The not being in control of that, that's dukkha. And so, on one level, it really does take courage in our vipassana practice to just show up, be present with this body and mind, with these sense stores, and pay attention to how life is manifesting moment by moment because we're not in charge. Difficult emotion, painful stories and thoughts in the mind, unpleasant sensations or impacts at the sense doors in the body. It's all possible in any given moment. And we show up and open to that. Of course, we open to the joys as well, but we open to whatever might arise. And there, I want to point out, there is the dukkha that I'm really wanting to point to today. Whatever might arise, we don't know. Can we sit steady in the face of that? That's our practice. Thank you for your meditation practice. So it's really about kind of training ourselves to both recognize and also and then to frame what's happening in this way. Um, and what's great about that is it takes there's something wrong out of the equation. You know, let's say something happens. I don't know. Uh, you get a flat tire or something. It's like, oh, right. Yeah, it's a drag and it could be very inconvenient, might need to be somewhere at a certain time, etc. So that there's that. But then the mind can come along and like, this shouldn't have happened. Oh, there's something wrong. Like, no, there's nothing wrong. This is an example of anything, anytime. And when we can be on board with that, we take away that second layer, or in the Buddha's teachings, the second arrow. We take the second arrow away and we're just left with, well, we have to deal with it. But the anguish, right, the mental anguish can be taken away. And this is what is to be gained by training oneself to frame what's happening in this way. Okay, friends, that's it for today. Um, because anything can happen at any time, that's why we wish each other well. We're bound to have a mix of things coming at us today. And, I wish you that mix contain many good and pleasant things. And that you have the steadiness to and the clarity of mind to be with the ones that are unpleasant. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Take good care. Bye-bye.